Accountability will come to order, and I want to welcome everyone. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. The committee welcomes the public to this very important meeting. While you are here, I want to point out to the members and the audience today that House Rule 11 provides that the chairman of the committee may punish breaches of order and decorum, including exclusion from the hearing. All participants will be required to avoid unruly behavior and inappropriate language. Expressions of support or opposition are not in order. I expect all parties to these proceedings to conduct themselves in a manner that reflects properly of the U.S. House of Representatives. I recognize myself for the purpose of making an opening statement. For the first time since 2019, this committee is holding an oversight hearing examining the District of Columbia. Since that time, our nation's capital has deteriorated and declined. Crime has risen dramatically, education levels have plummeted, and the city's finances are in disarray. D.C. officials have not carried out their responsibility to serve their citizens. Therefore, our committee must fulfill its responsibility to conduct oversight of the District of Columbia. We have a tall task today examining D.C.'s failures. The crime statistics alone are shocking. According to the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, carjackings in the district have increased 105% compared to this time last year. 56% of these carjackings are committed by juveniles. Total property crime is up 28%. Homicides are up 37% since 2019. Just days ago, 14 men were shot in 10 separate incidents within a 27-hour span in Washington, D.C. D.C. clearly has a crime crisis. The D.C. Council saw these rising crime trends, but rather than support policies to protect the residents, it did the opposite. On November 15, 2022, the D.C. Council passed the Revised Criminal Code Act of 2022. It contains several soft-on-crime measures that would escalate D.C.'s crime. The Revised Criminal Code Act eliminated almost all mandatory minimum sentencing requirements for violent crimes, and it drastically reduced the maximum penalties for many violent crimes. These and other changes further embolden criminals to run rampant throughout the nation's capital. Mayor Muriel Bowser vetoed this legislation last December. Yet the council persisted in pushing its soft-on-crime agenda and voted to override Mayor Bowser's veto. Thankfully, my friend from Georgia, Mr. Clyde, and a former member of this committee, introduced the House Joint Resolution 26 of disapproval. This resolution rejects the D.C. Council's Revised Criminal Code Act. Some blasted this effort as a partisan attack on the district, including many of my Democrat colleagues in this room. But this resolution passed Congress under bipartisan support and was signed by President Biden earlier this month on March 20th. Hopefully, D.C. officials took notice and are reconsidering its soft-on-crime approach. Today, we are fortunate to have two witnesses from the D.C. Council to answer how they plan to move forward in reducing the crime plaguing our capital. The Council must work with our men and women in uniform to craft legislation and policies that support the Metropolitan Police Department in thoughtful ways to ensure public safety. The Council also needs to focus on the district's children who have been placed last in priority the past few years. Forced school shutdowns during the pandemic led to huge drops in math and language scores for students across all grades. This has also led to record-level truancy. In 2022, 48% of D.C. students qualified as chronically absent. 48%. Almost half of D.C. students are not consistently going to school. And now, D.C. students' long-term prospects are sinking. Experts are projecting an over 40% decline in students seeking advanced education after high school. In 2022, D.C. ranked fourth from last in high school graduation rates among U.S. cities. Something needs to be done to turn this around. I hope to hear some solutions today. The district must also take steps to address financial concerns outlined by one of today's witnesses, Chief Financial Officer Glenn Lee. In his February 28th report, Mr. Lee determined that D.C. is in a weaker financial position in 2023 than it was in 2022. Some of those reasons include the loss of tax revenue from commercial properties and expanded telework. It seems the D.C. Council wants to ignore this poor fiscal outlook and is pushing expensive, progressive policies and programs. One of these programs is free busing, but free busing is not free. Taxpayers still have to pay for it. And unfortunately, D.C. is losing taxpayers as businesses and residents are fleeing at a record pace. D.C. must prioritize policies that promote economic growth, not find ways to spend money it doesn't have. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses about ways that D.C. intends to spur growth and encourage business. One idea is simply protecting your residents and small business owners. That will go a long way in promoting economic growth. This Congress, this committee, has and will continue to conduct oversight of the District of Columbia. We must, for its residents, our constituents who visit from across the country, and those who work in this city. They deserve a safe and prosperous city. I look forward to working with my colleagues and the district leaders to achieve that ideal.